So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
So today is the impeachment rally in downtown Los Angeles. I will be attending, but I just wanted to give a quick video as to what happened with this impeachment, all this impeachment business. It's kind of complicated, and I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit just so that people understand what's going on. If you have been following politics closely, you'll probably know the answers to these questions. If you haven't, then I will be able to help you understand just a little bit more as to like this whole situation. So President Donald Trump is being impeached with 2 articles of impeachment. The first one is abuse of power. President Donald Trump made a call to Vladimir Zelensky back in July, and he asked him to investigate Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in Ukraine. This is important because you can't have a foreign entity trying to interfere in a 2020 election, and Donald Trump asked somebody to do that. That in itself is something that is cause for impeachment, and so he asks Vladimir Zelensky for this dirt. If he doesn't give the dirt, if he doesn't do the investigations, then he will withhold assistance to Ukraine. So the United States gives monetary assistance to Ukraine. Ukraine is fighting a battle with Russia right now. Russia, under the direct orders of Vladimir Putin, invaded Ukraine a few years back. That was when Russia went into Crimea. During the Obama administration, they decided that it was best that we help Ukraine maintain their sovereignty, maintain their independence, and that's why we passed a bill to give assistance to Ukraine. Now, this assistance is not lethal. We don't give them guns. So vehicles, radios, body armor, ambulances, that sort of thing, so that Ukraine can be more prepared to face Russia. And this assistance is the assistance that is in question. President Trump decided to withhold this assistance unless Vladimir Zelensky would investigate the Trumps, announce it, and they would also get a visit to the White House, which would help President Zelensky. And this is where the quid quo pro is. If you give me what I want, if you give me the investigations on the Bidens, then I will release the military assistance that you need. Within the transcripts that the White House released, it isn't verbatim, it isn't word for word, but you can tell by the language, by the tone of what is said in the transcripts that this is exactly what Donald Trump meant, and this is why the impeachment inquiry was put into place, to try to figure out what is going on. We found that President Donald Trump did indeed ask for the investigations. If he didn't comply, he would withhold that aid. And so that is something that you can't do as a president of the United States, as a local official. You cannot ask a foreign entity to interfere in an election. And so with that is what caused Article 1. The second article of impeachment deals with obstructing Congress. So Congress decided to investigate further into what was said on the call, who had first-hand knowledge of the call, who had first-hand dealings with the president. They were able to call a lot of witnesses, but those witnesses were not in the call. They were not near President Donald Trump. We do in fact know what was said, what was going on. We have the gist of it. Gordon Sondland was the ambassador to the EU, and he was instructed by Donald Trump to do exactly everything that I just said. And so we still don't have a lot of people come forward and testify. Congress sent out subpoenas. Those subpoenas were ignored because Donald Trump told his officials not to comply with those subpoenas, and thus we have Article 2 for Donald Trump's impeachment, obstruction of Congress.
Behind me, there's a lot of people in front of this bus, and it's really loud over here, but it looks like people are having fun out here. You can look behind me. You can see people of all different ages of backgrounds. They're all here because they believe that Donald J. Trump, the 45th President of the United States, should be impeached. Tomorrow, the House of Representatives are going to be voting on whether or not to impeach Donald Trump on 2 articles of impeachment. And so people have gathered here in downtown Los Angeles in front of City Hall to let people know that this is something that people feel. I'm really happy to see that there are actually quite a few people that are actually enjoying the time that they're putting here. I guess you can see they're kind of dancing. The music that's playing behind me. And like I said, there's people from all different types of backgrounds. You can see.
We thought we could vote Trump out in 2020, and you know that's probably what it'll still come to. But when somebody tries to coerce a foreign government to interfere in our election, when a president tries to do that, you have to do something.
He's separated families with kids that will probably never see their parents, and some dying in cages. Do we want a president like that? Donald Trump, beware of this document, and beware of the power of the people assembled here tonight.
They think we're dumb, and they think we're so stupid that we'll believe it when they tell us that the Democrats can't possibly get anything done because we're so focused on impeachment. Well, somebody please tell them that we know that the House has passed hundreds of bills this year. Hundreds of bills! Like HBA, which makes sure everyone who buys a gun gets a background check first. Or HB1, which protects our elections from foreign interference. Wow!
It's my privilege to be a senior advisor for Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, that's all good. You know, the senator is here in town. You may have heard. We got a little rally coming up on Saturday with AOC down at Venice Beach. It's time for America to be heard, right? We want to make sure that the real America is heard in these impeachment hearings. Not the millionaires and the billionaires, as the boss would say, but real folks like MoveOn.org. Real folks like them great folks at Indivisible as well.
We're here on the eve of the vote before the House of Representatives tomorrow to ask that Congress hold this president accountable to defend our democracy and to send a message to the world that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
And President Trump has been impeached by the House of Representatives for abuse of power. This one concerns the abuse of power, and it states that President Trump withheld aid and a White House meeting to pressure Ukraine for an investigation on a political rival.
On this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted.
And President Trump has now been impeached on Article 2, obstruction of Congress, which says that the president instructed administration officials not to comply with congressional subpoenas.
On this vote, the yeas are 229, the nays are 198, present is 1. Article 2 is adopted.
Impeach Donald Trump. Impeach Donald Trump.
Donald Duck.
Donald Duck. Yes. Impeach Donald Duck. Impeach Donald Duck.